Okay, it's 4:15, so I will bring the meeting to order. This is the Historic District Commission. The date is December 14th, 2023. Time is 4:15. Notice this hearing was published in the Friday, December 1st edition of the Fairfield Citizen. And I'll take attendance. Starting with Rosina Negron, Commissioner.
Here.
Thank you. Darren Raymond Locke, Commissioner.
Here.
Art Gravanis, Commissioner.
I'm here.
Thank you. Jim Bohan, Alternate Commissioner. Jim Bohan. Jim
There it
Bohan,
is.
Commissioner.
Here.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And I'm Adam Clausen, Commissioner. Absent tonight is George Clark, Alternate Commissioner, although I think he may be showing up later. So currently everyone is voting, including Jim, on the applications. Okay, first item on the agenda is Sophie Coleman, 349 Beach Road in Fairfield, for property located at 349 Beach Road in Fairfield for A, new fieldstone stepping stones, B, marble coping around pool, C, new marble pool deck, and D, pool equipment on concrete pad. Do we have someone representing 349 Beach Road?
Hi, my name is John DeFeo. I'm a landscape architect. I was here last month. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so last month we came in with the swimming pool, and I guess we weren't specific enough regarding the additional items on the design with the actual patio around the pool and some stepping stones leading to the pool and the pool equipment pad. I'm trying to, do you guys have my drawing, or how do I share what I have?
If you could share it, but that'd be best, but I can if you.
Okay, so let me see here. I'm just going to open this up here. All
There's a
right.
button on the bottom that says share, and then you have to just
Yep.
navigate to that, your
I
phone.
got you. All right, so we are going to screen here. All right, are you able to see the screen that I just pulled up? Oh, here we go. I gotta hit more buttons. Okay. So right now I have the screen showing the overall site. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. It's not a very colorful picture, but just showing generally what we're talking about here. Currently, the house is in this location here with Beach Road and Sunny Home Drive off on the side here. The proposed pool is behind an existing garage. And basically we're just doing a wide coping around the pool, 24-inch wide coping around the pool with some patio along the end of the pool, and some stepping stones connecting it to an existing stepping stone walk that wraps around the back of the house, and some stepping stones leading to the back of the garage here. And just the pool equipment would be hidden off the side of the garage here, which we would screen with some plantings. The patio for the pool that we're looking at is it's a type of marble that looks like a light colored bluestone. I'll share another screen with you to show you what that looks like. So right now on this screen, this is what it looks like. It's a very light colored blue. And again, the idea is that we wanted to go with something that was in keeping with materials in the area, but the bluestone gets very hot, and we found that this to be a nice material that Mimics a bluestone, but is a lighter and it's cooler on your feet. Stepping stones, I'm just trying to think. Oh, I could share one more thing with you on that. The stepping stones, they're just existing field stone stepping stones. Let's see if I can find it here in the picture that we had sent in. We're just basically mimicking that picture with the stepping stones set in the grass. I guess we got a lot of things here. There we go. All right, so where we're talking about, this is the existing garage, this is the back of the house, and the pool would be down in this shaded area here down below. Just trying to find a picture of the stepping stones so you can see what I was talking about. Right now, here's the stepping stone path that wraps around the back of the house. Right now it's mulched because they're trying to get the grass to grow in between the joints. It's just a native stone, flat stone that they stuck in the grass, and we want to stick a few more in the grass that lead you to the pool. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. Rosanna, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Darren, questions?
No questions for me.
Art, questions?
None for me, thank you.
And Jim?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, I just have a couple questions. Could you pull those drawings back up?
Yeah. One show on the site plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
just curious how wide is the coping? Looks
Be
like
24 inches wide.
I just want to be clear as to.
This might show it in detail. Let's see. Doesn't have a dimension. Let's see. It shows on this one.
I think the site plan might be. Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I'll go back. Try to find out where that is. Basically, it's wide enough so the hammerhead of the automatic pool cover isn't shown. You know, you don't see that delineation, and the skimmer covers are all embedded in it as well, so you won't see the little bump outs for the skimmer covers. Yeah, that's basically
Okay,
it
yeah,
there.
so it's just a 2-foot coping around the whole thing, and then at the end, what's the
And at the
dimension of
end,
the?
we have about 12 foot of patio at the end of the pool. This way we could have some couple lounge chairs and you could walk in front of them between the pool and the lounge chair.
I don't remember that. Did you have was the fence part of the? No, you did. You're not doing a fence, right? Because of the having the pool cover on it.
Yes, we have an automatic pool cover and we'll be housing the cover switch above 54 inches.
Okay, so these pool gates don't exist or not proposed.
There actually is a fence there now. There's a picket fence that an old picket fence that wraps around. So
All right, but you're not changing it.
no, I think these drawing. Yeah, we're not changing anything with the fence.
Okay, so make sure because it has pool fence written on here. And then
Yeah.
this is where the pool equipment is going here.
Yeah, pool equipment's going off the side of the garage here.
And there's nothing around it.
We're gonna plant around it, but that was
Okay.
about it.
And we'll probably stipulate planting. Anyway, okay, those are the only questions I had. Thank you.
Okay.
I did not receive any letters in favor of this application. I did not receive any letters opposing this application. Would anyone in the public like to speak in favor? Would anyone like to speak in opposition? Okay, then the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the
Hi, Adam.
agenda is Stephen and Margaret. Sorry. Next item on the agenda is Stephen and Margaret Staunton, 560 Pequot Avenue in Southport, for property located at 560 Pequot Avenue in Southport for A, replace and update bluestone around pool, B, replace and update bluestone patio, new field stone, sitting wall, and planting bed, C, new patio off dining, D, replace existing fence, E, gravel driveway with Belgian block, apron, and steel edging. Is someone here to represent the Stauntons?
My name's Will Hibbs. I'm with Oliver Nurseries and Design Associates, and I'm helping Meg and Steve. I believe they are also on this part of this, but I will kind of walk through what our proposal is here. Now I have to figure out how to do this share. Click to share. Oops. Sorry, my first time here.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
If you have difficulty, Will, I can probably share it on my end.
I think I about have it. Yeah, do you mind, Steve? I'm sorry, I know I won't. I'll let you follow or give your cursor can follow my words. It's saying I don't have permission.
It's uploading at the moment.
I wanted to talk through.
Okay, I'd just like to say George Clark has just joined the meeting, so
So, reminder, this is
he's
your
eligible
chair.
to vote on the
Thank you, Adam.
application.
And we've matched the sheer really beautifully here. So it's all going to be very tonal. This is the wall sconce that we got. Remember, we wanted to get the energy Noyer, but this
All
was
right.
like 8,000 super.
Sorry, who's
Oh, that's that
mic
one.
is?
So, Will, tell me what
Adam,
you need.
Yeah, there's a I don't know if you could share, Adam, that one without the
I
survey.
can share it.
So it's
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Bonus.
I don't know if you have it, Steve. I had submitted one that was did not have the survey underneath, so it's a little easier to see.
I don't know that I have that saved. Let me see if I can find it. I think I do have that one actually. Adam, do you have that or do you want me to get that here?
I do. It's just taking my computer a second to get it. You see that?
Yeah, I see that's the front page.
Okay.
Like this.
All right.
Is that the document you're looking for, Will? Do you have another one? Because I have another
Uh,
one.
No,
that has-
this is,
Yeah, he's on it now.
There it is.
This
There it
bottom
is.
one.
Got it.
Perfect.
There it is. Perfect. Perfect.
So the first piece of this is the bluestone masonry surrounding the pool deck. It's existing right now. The way you're looking at your drawing there, the left and the top and the right side, are pretty much as is. And we have proposed basically kind of flaring those edges towards the house to meet up with the new covered porch, which is a under construction project right now that's was previously approved. So it's a small addition of bluestone to create a connection. It would be a mosaic pattern, which it is today, set on concrete. And I know the customer's interested in using a full color range for that stone. So that's the pool deck there is, yeah. So basically a renovation with a minor addition to meet the house. To the left of that, off that radius, straight out from the radius staircase there, that's also a covered porch that's already approved. And so at the bottom of that, that'll be 2 steps down. So at grade, another patio, the same full color mosaic pattern on concrete, a separate terrace there for a dining table. The goal there was not to have a huge expanse of bluestone and kind of break it up. And so they have the area to use their pool and have lounge chairs. And then where you see those stepping stones and kind of that empty space between the 2 patios would be gardens to soften the space. And so it's not all stonework there in between. And then, so those are the 2 patios at grade surrounding the pool. On the, let's see, behind the garage there, within that footprint, there's an existing patio that's basically concrete pavers, was put in at one point, and we would like to change that and change the stone wall that's existing. That's like more of a stacked paver type of wall to be a field stone wall with a bluestone cap, and have another full color bluestone mosaic in that space. If you look at this survey there, it shows a stone wall and a big circle where I think it was a former tree pit. I think the tree has been gone since before I got involved. But the idea is to make that a more usable space, pull the stone off the side of the house a little bit so we could have some gardens. And then on the right side, as you're looking at it, going towards that east property line, instead of the wall just running straight across, parallel with the house, we'd like to turn it, have a return towards Pequot Ave, towards the south there. Right now, it's sort of a tricky grade that just rolls off and erodes and has some ivy and other weeds growing there, and pulling that sitting wall around will just kind of help ground the patio in space and help address that grade change on that corner. So it's not not adding much space, kind of in the same footprint aside from the wall, and making it a nicer and more usable space for the homeowner. And then the fence currently comes off the corner of the garage and goes like halfway towards the property line. before heading up towards the north property line, and we are proposing to change that, pulling it off, a little bit closer to Pequot Ave, so it's not right off the corner of the house. So we can soften those corners with plants and gain a little more space, and then also carry it all the way over to the property line so that the customer can capture all that space within their backyard. Right now, it's an existing sort of painted cedar fence that is falling down and needs to be rebuilt anyway. So we'd like to move it, that one line, to the property line at the same time. The driveway was mentioned in the application, but we have actually decided there's not, that detail needs to be worked through. I forget the proper terms, but I think it was reject without prejudice or something along those lines, where I won't get into the driveway because we're going to hold on applying for that until we can figure out, all the details and have everything together.
Okay, yeah, we can deny that one without prejudice.
Whoop.
Okay. All right. Darren, do you have any questions?
No questions for me.
Thank you. Art, questions?
None for me, thank you.
Jim, questions?
The drawings show a second-story addition. Can you talk about that?
Jim, that was previously approved. This is just for this.
Okay.
That was just, this application is just for pool decking and
Okay.
patios and sitting.
That
rooms.
was, I believe that was approved last year. Jack Franzen led that discussion about that, and I believe it was approved in 2022. If I don't have the dates in front of me exactly, but
Any other questions, Jim?
Okay.
Regarding
other
the current
questions.
application? Thank you. George, questions?
No questions. Thank you. Nice job.
I have just one question. Is the fence, is this basically the fence that's existing and you're extending?
yeah. That's the fence, Will,
Okay.
by the back patio, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
One note, is there any new
Well, it's gonna
lighting?
be. Sorry, was that?
Adam,
Sorry?
I'm sorry. Is there any new lighting?
No, no new lighting.
That's true.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me.
Any other questions, George?
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Adam.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, no lighting, and the fence is, it's gonna match this existing picture fence of the fence, and it's gonna be wood.
Well,
Right.
that's the plan. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Just want to know what we're approving, in terms of the fence. Usually
Yeah,
there's-
agreed.
we have drawings.
Understood entirely.
Okay. All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Did not receive any letters in favor of this application.
I don't have any questions either, since I
Oh,
wasn't
my
asked.
goodness. I apologize, Rosita.
That's okay.
Rosita, do you have any questions? No.
Nope.
Sorry about that. Yes, and I don't have any other questions. I did not receive any letters in favor of this application. I did not receive any letters opposing this application. And would anyone in the public like to speak in favor of this application? Would anyone like to oppose this application? Okay. The application is, or the hearing is closed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Greenfield Hill Congregational Church, 1045 Old Academy Road, for property located at 1045 Old Academy Road, for a new generator with evergreen screening. Is there someone here to represent Greenfield Hill Church? Okay. There's no one here for the Greenfield Hill Church at the moment. We'll come back to it after the last application. Next item on the agenda, 163 Harbor Road, LLC, 163 Harbor Road in Southport for property located at 163 Harbor Road in Southport. For A, lift house. For B, decrease deck size. C, replace existing dock with new deck, replace existing deck with new deck. D, replace deck railing with new railings. E, remove trash receptacle. F, new generator platform. G, new condenser platform. H, replace asphalt roof with cedar roof. I, replace aluminum gutters and downspouts with galvanized aluminum. J, revise and replace windows and doors. K, remove existing roof, new flat roof deck. L, new garage side door. M, new siding and columns to wood shingles. N, revise garage fence, posts and railing lighting. O, replace garage doors and replace louver with a window with shutter. P, enclose existing front door, add 9-inch vertical board and batten. Q, new dormer. R, second floor addition. S, new entry with portico. T, new stairs with posts, spindles, and planters. U, new brick chimney with bluestone cap, bluestone capped existing chimney. V, new windows. W, metal driveway, edging, pavers, gravel patio. X, the gates, and Y, extend height of seawalls by 1 foot. So someone here to represent 136 Harbor.
I'm here, Bonnie Page. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi Bonnie, can you share your
Hi,
application?
how are you?
Good.
Firstly, I just really wanted to say thank you to everyone that came out to do a preview with me. It was very helpful, and I do appreciate your time. It's a lot. So and I did not know that you had to go 2 at a time. So it was like a lot of time. So thank you again. So I'm submitting this application with the intent to lift the house. That was the initial intent. So currently it's 3.5 feet below FEMA requirements. And so the maximum that you can do without all variances and everything else was 5 feet. And it was suggested to me that I bring it up to the 5 feet because you don't know where FEMA is going to go with the requirements at 1.5 extra feet. They said to do that. So, or suggested that I did. So I originally went in purchasing this house. I just really do kind of just need to give you a little bit of background with the intent of not going for a variance. And I'm still not going for a variance. I'm doing everything within the realm of zoning without having to get a variance. I think at this point, I am only allowed, it was originally told that I could do something that looks like the Tide Mill building, which was my goal. I was going to put up a completely another story across the whole front of the house because it's a corner lot, a non-conforming covered corner lot. They said I was able to use that corner as a setback. And by lifting it, I could keep another setback. And then I did all of my plans and found out that I could not do that. So I had to go back to square one. And when I went back to square one, I went back to zoning. We had another meeting and I said, what can I do? So that's what these plans are. It's exactly what I can do within the requirements of zoning without getting a variance. So you will see by looking at the plans, I'm going to try to share this too, if you want me to. I'm not sure I know how, but unless it's easier for you to share it.
Okay, I can share if you like.
You know what, Adam, if you could, I would probably save everybody a lot of time.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. So if we go down to the next page. Oh, Adam, I really appreciate you doing this. All right, here, if you go to the survey. So here's the survey, and the partial, what you can see the water side, it's on the top. The addition that I am proposing to do is on the right side. And in accordance with zoning, I have to cut the deck back because it's in a high velocity zone. So you can see the back of the deck. Right now it angles out and past that jog on the water side. And then angles back in and turns back into the house. So that whole back side of the deck has to come off no matter what. And I'm going to go in order here for you to make it easier. So but I guess that's it. So decreasing the size of the deck to remove from the high velocity zone has for zoning. And then C, it's currently a plastic deck. So I'm going to rebuild it with wood and wood posts with cable wire. And then E, there's a trash receptacle on right there. Currently, there's a trash receptacle on the right side of the house at the edge of the corner by the deck, which I am removing and putting the trash inside the garage. F, a generator platform will be built. Adam, if you just go back up to that side where the fireplace is. This F is a generator platform, which has to be non-combustible to house the generator. And it will be closed with that type of vertical screening. And I'm doing vertical boards, anywhere you see boards, again, to emulate the boards that are on Tide Mill and also on a beautiful boathouse right up the road, 2 doors up. I've tried to use everything in my surrounding area to make it look as cohesive to the location as possible. G is build a non-combustible condenser platform with vertical board, which would be just across from that. So when you're looking at it from the roadside, it would have all screening. If you go back to the survey, I guess, yeah, right here. It will have screening of trees and a gate. So you won't see any of that from the roadside. H. Oh, and that would be removing the condenser that is down in the back by the dock. So it would just be all in one space. So you wouldn't really see it at all. So I'm just going to stop there for a second because I do want to say something about lifting the house. So my neighbors on the southwest side, it's the garage. And my proposal, the current height of that house now is 18.5 feet. With a lift of 5 feet and the proposed addition, it would be 33.5 feet, which is below the allowable 40 feet within the variance, without getting a variance, within zoning requirements. So having said that, I want to just backtrack a little bit again. In reviewing this plan and what I've submitted, I love everything about this house. I think it's very conducive to Southport and fits in perfectly on that lot, especially how the road slopes down. The house is still lower than all of my surrounding neighbors and will really not block the view. I am now not planning on lifting the house. So, because in doing
So wait a second. Bonnie,
yes,
can I just stop you for a second?
yes, please.
So you're presenting an application that's for a raised house and you don't want to raise it?
I am saying that that is an option right out of the box. So as we
Okay, well,
review this,
if we're evaluating, we're considering
Mhm.
your project as a raised house, not as a unraised house, because we can't see what it looks like as an unraised house. We only have drawings of a raised house. So I think you need to decide before you come to us whether you want to raise it or not.
well, I think
Because
that in
I mean,
that
I don't know
case,
how
we
we can't. How are we supposed to know what we're voting on or approving?
all right, well, let me try to explain. I think in that
Okay.
case, I think it is probably most constructive if we go through this plan as of raising it. Because it's very easy to see, there's a line straight across the front that shows what it would be not raised, and it's basically just taking it down 5 feet. The house remains exactly the same, because within raising the house, all you're basically building is a platform underneath the house. The garage floor elevation remains the same. There was just a second story added, a half story added to the top of the garage. It lifts it up enough, so the garage doors just become bigger. So generally, there are 3 changes, 3 slight revisions if I did not raise it. The house raised, again, I'm just going to repeat myself, not to be redundant, but just to try to clarify and make sure everybody understands. It's like putting a house on a box, on a platform with pilings and decorating it up so you don't see that it's raised. So having said that, let me go back and just start continuing with H where we left off. Is that okay?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So H, replace the current asphalt roof with cedar shingle and extend all the eaves 1 foot to be in concert with the Tide Mill building and the Harbor Road boathouse as shown. It's 2 stories up for me. So if you scroll down, there's a beautiful red boathouse. I think that the Crawford Zone. That's the existing house, obviously. So that's the Tide Mill building. This is the boathouse. So the eaves, again, through zoning, these eaves are larger than 1 foot, but I'm planning on 1 foot. And that boathouse was really just instrumental in what I wanted this house to look like. I wanted to have character and fit into Southport. The house won't be red. It will be a very soft white. But the dormers that you will see on the house are also emulated from these dormers. There was a lot of inspiration from that little boathouse. Let's just say that. So that's where the eaves come from. So, and if you go back, maybe I can review all those things at the end. Replacing the aluminum gutters right now, the white aluminum gutters and downspouts with galvanized aluminum gutters and downspouts where necessary. Revise and replace all windows and doors. So we can, if you want to look at this is the current house. If you want to go back and look at the new elevations versus the old, or existing, I should say. All right, here's the front. So the windows and doors currently, even though they don't really function, I'd like to make it a little bit more like a farmhouse, right? This house was built originally in 1958. Prior to that, there was nothing there. So it was built technically as a mid-century modern house. And then revisions were done in 1985 to make it what they called a colonial cottage. I think the original plans are there too, from 1985. As you can see, there are a lot of different architectural styles going on here, from the garage doors and the plastic vent, louver vent, to 6/6 windows. It just, and then mid-century modern roof with basically an 18th century center chimney. So there's a lot going on here that is just a mashup. So what I'm really trying to do is bring it back to what it could have been. actually, which I thought is very pretty, making it a little bit more of a farmhouse with a salt box feeling. The garage, you can see above right now, has a shed type roof on it. And so I'm extending that a bit to make it appear to be more of a salt box. And then instead of going up to a straight Georgian colonial, which would emulate my direct neighbor on the right, with more of an A roof line, I don't even know exactly what that roof line's called. I decided to do the salt box fading into the existing roof line, which I cannot change. So where the addition is, over to the left, that is an existing, all of that is existing, and I cannot change it. And then we added the dormer on that roof to give more space actually on the second floor. Because right now it's, that whole section is non-conforming as far as ceiling heights. So I have to use the existing attic space that's there, which isn't very much, to bring up the ceiling heights to code. Hence the dormer. So in lifting it, I have to build out a big cement staircase in the front entry. So the front entry, we just did basically a shed roof with a 2/2 window panel door and just flanked by 2/2 windows, working windows, to try to keep that saltbox colonial Southport feeling. Just below the dormer are 3 windows and a door with a board and batten, 9-inch board and batten siding. Everything else will remain the exact same shingle that's on the house. It'll just be painted, which is a cedar wood shingle. And I just want to say, if I didn't lift the house, I would be losing the whole front staircase, because right now it's basically 1 step elevation to the front door. And if I didn't lift the house, the door next to the garage, it looks like an entry door, the window above it would go away and the door would just be there. That door is really just a door to a staircase that goes up to a mudroom. So I wouldn't have to have that interior staircase as well. And the garage doors would be a foot lower. So also on the front exterior, I'm just going to get it all out here. The chimney on the right. If you go to the next slide, and then we might just have to go back up and down a little bit for a second. That chimney was actually driving me crazy, and I'm submitting it because it basically is allowable. And if you go around town, it's on antique houses, because we wanted to have a fireplace on the first and the second floor. But in deciding to lift it, we're really looking at access going forward for an older person. They don't really want to go up all of those stairs to go to their front entrance, to go to their mudroom, from their garage, to get to their front door, their friends, whomever it may be, even for groceries, for a family. So that's kind of where this is coming from. And there's an existing first floor bedroom where that chimney is right now. And so we were going to get rid of the bedroom and put a family room there. So then I decided, you know what, it's better to keep it level to the ground and have a first floor bedroom. It's just practicality wise, just for a house. There will be 3 bedrooms on the second floor, and the third floor will have an option for grandchildren or whomever it may be, with a bathroom and an option for a bedroom or office, whatever it may be. So having said that, if I do not lift the house, that chimney will go away completely, because I figured out how to do it through the interior of the house and not have a chimney there. So Adam, if you go back to the slide above, please, I'm sorry. That chimney to the right, which is on the southwest side next to the garage of the, my neighbor up, because I don't have a neighbor on the other side, I have the bridge to the Tide Mill building. That will go away. But what will happen, which I know you're going to want to see, is a matching center chimney on the salt box section of the house, the new section, right in the center. So it'll be the exact same size as the existing chimney, but it will be right in the center of the peak of the salt box, which I think is even more conducive to what this house should be. I'm actually living in a 1700 salt box right now. Maybe that's where some of this plan came from. And I walk around in circles all day because of the center chimney. But now you can do fireboxes and make everything cohesive without having to lose all that space inside. Okay, so thank you for your time and listening to that running on. If you want to just go forward, if back to the front of the house where that board and batten is. Sorry, Adam. That currently above is open space. So there's 3 feet of a patio, basically, or a porch that steps in. So that's a covered porch area with the roof line existing. So I'm proposing to close that in the front to have it flush. Again, getting away from that mid-century modern feeling and making it more colonial. All right, now, there we go. That was the next one. Okay, so again, adding the dormer to the existing roof, we already talked about that, and that to be wood shingle, no metal. Revise the southwest elevation by adding the second floor full attic addition to the existing structure. And then, the new entry, that's again the front, the slide up, Adam, the front 6x10 entry with a shed wood roofed portico. I originally had it at the next one up. I originally had it as a metal roof in our preview meeting, but I changed it to wood, and I changed the front door and the windows. I just wanted to just all blend in. And the wood entry would be wood. If I were to lift it, the stairs would be cement. House on Rose Hill just did that. So I was kind of just going with that. And I was going to have planters on the side to ease it, but hopefully it won't have to be that at all. So that's P, adding the concrete staircase, which would then have me, if you want to go to the next slide, you can see the railing. And that's what it would look like from the side. The next one up, Adam, sorry. Right here. So you can see the side elevation of the front portico. So I wouldn't have to do any of those stairs if I don't lift it. If I do lift it, that's what the railing would look like. And I tried to add planters to the side so I could soften it with greenery. And they're just plain square spindles with a wood rail. And then I did a platform in the center to ease the staircase from a practical standpoint. Okay, so now we're on Q, the 2-story brick fireplace with bluestone cap. And then adding a bluestone, which hopefully I won't be doing, but adding a bluestone cap to the existing chimney as well, the center chimney. So then if we're still on that chimney side, adding the windows, 2/2 windows. It's actually changing the 2/2 windows, adding them, changing them. I'm not sure how you want to handle that. And then adding dormers to the top to allow some light on that side of the house. Otherwise, there's just a window in the front and the back of the house. and then fixed glass panels on the corners of the first floor and the second floor. And then you can see here on this side elevation, currently there are all glass doors with many panes and windows and the deck. So the deck is being set in further. The roof line on the addition that was done in 85, I want to revise to a deck from access only from the second floor, not from the first floor. So it won't be, or from the exterior deck, it won't be up and down from two decks. It will only be from the interior access. And then changing out the windows and the doors to be 2-panel. And then if I lift it, I tried to hide the staircase. The existing staircase, you can see it comes down, which is it's still elevated up. I'd say about 3.5 feet. Actually, maybe more like 4 feet. So you'd be adding 5 feet on top of that. So I tried to hide the staircase to do it within the deck. So losing deck space, but not having it be so obvious. So then if we go to the next one, the next panel. Okay, so this is the top is existing, the bottom's proposed. So the attic would have 3 2/2 windows that would have to be casement, but with a simulated rail, which is, you can't even really tell. And Adam, I appreciate you reminded me to do that because on my original plans, they showed us casement. On all the windows showed us casement. It was a little alarming to me as well. So anywhere, and I think in the kitchen oh no, I think that's the only place because that's egress. That was the only place where we really had to do that. And then, so right now it's showing the 3 doors, the 3 fixed glass panels on the second floor. If I don't lift it, I actually had a little bit of change of heart that it would be just 2 panels on the corner, not the 3. And then below it, that is a sliding door that would remain as a sliding door with access to the existing deck, basically from that first floor bedroom for the enjoyment of outside from that bedroom. The other current windows that are on the second floor become part of the roof line and a door to the second floor deck. And then the other windows are just spaced out a little bit more with another door to the deck, the second floor. So then if you go down to the first floor, the windows are basically being changed to clearer glass. And then you can see the railing there that it's a cable wire with a chamfered wood column post with now a wood deck. And then the windows to the right, I eliminated a lot of those because that will become the kitchen with just a door and 3 windows. The existing window to the back of the garage, if I don't lift it, will stay. If I do lift it, I mean, that's what it is. There's currently a condenser. And you can, actually, let me go back to the deck. You can see what the stairs will look like if it's lifted. If it's not, you will not see the cable wire in front of the glass because I now have to take that part of the deck off for FEMA requirements. So I think that's kind of it there. The condenser is currently in the existing house right in the bottom to the stairs to the right. And the condensers would stay there if I don't lift it. Otherwise, I had to move it over to the other side by my neighbor's garage. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And actually on the A-frame section of the house, on the A-frame, the salt box section of the house, that's where you would see the chimney and you won't see it to the left. All right, that's that. If we go to the next slide, unless you have any questions on this. Okay, so here's the existing. You can see above, you can see where the deck has to come back to the edge of the house. You can see what the stairs would look like there and everything to hide underneath. So hiding the columns, by lifting it, I was going to shingle all of the columns and do all of the vertical boards to just try to make it go away. I had to add a door to have access to the second floor of the garage because I was going to finish that. If I do not lift it, there will be no door. The windows will stay as is, which is where they are now. And the window changed, the size of the window changed for the kitchen, which would be, as you see, the proposed. It would be a smaller window for the kitchen. And then I think that's pretty much that. You can see how the house sits down from this grade. From what you see there is basically the driveway. And then it also goes up from there to the road. So the house really sits down. And the reason initially for lifting it was because of water, obviously FEMA requirements. And I did some research and found out that since 1958 or 85, I'm not even actually sure when they were done, there were only 2 claims totaling $22,000. So if I lift it, I don't have to pay flood insurance. The person that sold me the house had flood insurance of $1,000 a year because of the current elevation, but it was not transferred to me. So now it's $8,000 a year. So I'm going back and forth. Does it make sense just to pay for the flood insurance and not lift it to have the convenience of, first floor living and not to have to walk up a whole story to get to a first floor? And then I spoke with DEP about raising the seawall. So DEP will allow me to raise the seawall 1 foot, which will in turn really deter any water that's coming up there now. Because basically, if you look at the front of the house, the whole left side, it's soggy a lot. Water gets there at high tide, and not always high tide, but when it's surge tides, I guess you would say. So it's not really that usable. So I think I'm doing that. I'm requesting that no matter what, to raise that wall a foot across the board. And then I think the next slide, Adam, you can see again the staircase for the front. This is my proposed fence, which is very similar to every fence going down the road. I mean, I studied every fence going down the road on Harbor. The only difference with these is these caps would not be, these posts would not have caps, they would be chamfered, which was a little bit more conducive to the time of a salt box, not necessarily caps, but plain posts or hidden posts. And that would be along the front of the road. Again, really just for privacy because there's a stop sign there and before you go over the bridge, and there are trees planted there, but I think just a little deterrent. And then if we just go, I think one more slide, you can see what the gate would look like to the entrance to the right of the house, which is just a wood plank gate. To the height of, I have it at 8 feet because that's how tall it would have to be if I lift the generator up that high and the condensers up that high, but it could be lower if I don't. Just with a green wall on either side. And if we go down, you can just, you'll see, that's it, again, the existing house. But I think you'll be able to see some, that's just the existing floor plan. You don't really need that. And that's just the Tide Mill building. So that's basically the view from outside. And then from my deck, you really can't see my neighbor's house from my deck because it's basically side by side, but that's the view. Oh, this is the salt box. Oh, for some reason, Adam, you had it, you were able to figure it out how to get that picture straight up. I had it sideways on mine. So you can see how the salt box roof line of this project, of this house, blends right into the existing roof line, the connecting roof line, and the dormer, and then the shed overhang. That, a lot of that is just what I was basing things off of for the idea of the design of the house. With the center chimney. And then the full glass, this was something that I was using. I had that picture from a very long time ago. Which is a boathouse further down on Harbor Road. And I'm not proposing full glass, I'm proposing 1/1. So it's basically a 2 3/4 inch rail, 2 feet off the floor. For the glass in the back. And then if you go down further, I think you can see the light cuts. Of the, yeah, so that would be the front door, so it's 2/2. That's the garage. Bottom panel with lights. And then these lights are lights for the columns that would have to go on the staircases. Because they're long staircases. Or actually at the end of the driveway as well. And then this is, it's just a 2/2 smaller window. They're just different sizes. I believe that one's for over the kitchen. And that's the glass panel door. So there are 2 sizes of 4x7, 4x8. And that would be the door. That's a slider. Thank you. That's the triple slider. I can't change all the ceilings on the inside, so some of the ceilings will remain 7, 8, I think it is, on the first floor. And I think that's it. I think we hit everything, and I know that's a lot to take in. So if you have any questions or concerns, and I know everyone can't stay, but please let me know.
Okay. So, I'm getting myself, Rosina, can you start? I know you're short for time, but
I can stay for a few more minutes.
okay.
I don't really have any questions. I feel the presentation was a little bit confusing, especially as we were given the kind of decision of it might be lifted, it might not be lifted. So with that, I don't think I have any questions at this moment. So
Would you mind if I responded to that? Is that allowed?
Yep,
sure.
I'm not sure of the protocol.
Okay.
I wanted you to take you through the project as presented, and I'm sorry if it was confusing. I can totally see how it would be. It was confusing for me talking about it again. But it is very well thought out for me that I would prefer not to lift it. But I did bring you through the process of everything else of as it would be. And I think I don't want to waste your time. But I also want you to know what I'm thinking. Because I really think lifting a house, if I'm willing to pay that $8,000 a year of insurance and going below the requirements for zoning for the height, even with lifting it, I really don't feel that lifting it as is, even though other houses have been lifted to some degree, I really don't like the way it looks in a historic area. And I just don't like it. I never have. So I think that's where I'm coming from. So I wanted you to see the presentation generally of the house, and hopefully you can see by that dotted line of really what the house would be, which would basically be a pretty saltbox cottage. So anyway, thank you for that. And sorry for the confusion.
Thank you. That's okay. And with that, I'm gonna have to leave the meeting, sadly.
Okay, thank you, Rosina.
But have a good one.
Thank you. Okay, Darren, do you have any questions?
I don't really have any questions. I'll echo Rosina's comments about being slightly confused. Just one little thing that I'll say is that it's hard for us you've presented us with a set of plans for a raised house with a side chimney instead of a center chimney. And now you might not want to lift the house and put the chimney in a center, which significantly alters the plans. So that's just going to be something that's going to be difficult.
I understand. So you're saying that you really, really need to see it with the center chimney on the house. As
So
opposed
basically,
to, I see.
yeah, so when you present to the board, we have to approve, deny without prejudice, deny, stipulate based on what is given to us. And we can't approve a bunch of designs that like it's this, but not raised. We
Yeah, I understand.
really need to do it based on what's in front of us. So these little changes, these design changes you're thinking through or having changes of hearts about become bigger issues because you'll have to come back to us for any modification to whatever we actually approve.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
Complete sense. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Completely. I would, yes, you have to envision it. It's hard to,
Yeah.
yes,
We need plans that we
I
can
know.
uphold.
I
So
understand.
so that's kind of why I'm having some trouble on top of being slightly confused about what's being proposed, what's not being proposed, what might be moved, what might not be moved. So that's just my little bit of feedback, and that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. I got it.
Thank you, Darren. Art?
Bonnie, look, I think these ideas are beautiful. I like just about everything, but just like the others, just so I'm level setting here, you spent 45 minutes going over what you'd rather not have approved.
Right. You know what? I really, believe it or not, I'll tell you a little background if you want.
I don't
I
want to
had
hear, I don't want to hear the background.
No, I had my children up and we just decided it's really not the best fit for me. And it's also
I
really
just
not
think
the
because
best fit
these
for
are
the
good
look.
ideas. I liked when we were on site, what you had in mind, but just for the purposes of what your intentions are to have something that would be granted a certificate of appropriateness. I think you need to come here with what you want, given what you've articulated about,
I totally agree.
things. So, and so we don't spend another 45 minutes, going over something that doesn't really have isn't what you want.
No, I completely agree. I'm listening to all this and I'm already in the works with new plans for you. I expected this.
Okay,
But
that's all I have.
Okay,
Let's
great.
move
I
on.
just wanted to make everyone aware of it and just get a general, like, if there's something that really stands out to you that you just is not right or appropriate for historic, that I can just get all of that answered and all of that completed for you for my next presentation, for my next submittal.
Okay, and just, for the next time, brevity, clarity, and precision instead of
I know, I get very nervous.
editorializing. We're human and, we have limited attention spans and energy, but, that's not to say your ideas weren't good and this wasn't excellent work. So
No, I know. I appreciate that. And I do appreciate your time. I just wasn't sure if not to submit it at all. Or
okay, that's enough. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Jim, do you have any questions?
No, I just echoed the previous commissioner's comments, but no further questions.
Thank you, Jim. George, comments?
Hi, Bonnie.
Hello.
And I guess I could echo both of the prior commissioners. If I have two observations on the plans, whether you raise it or you don't. It looks like an awful lot of railing from the water. And I think the mass of the dormer on the right-hand side is a little out of scale with the left-hand side of the house. So those are just two observations. But if you're going to go, I'm only giving you insight into, I guess, your next submission.
Okay, so wait, just to clarify, if I could respond,
Of
the
course.
railing is actually less railing now than there is existing. By probably, I think about, at least 15 to 20 feet less railing. So if you look at the back, this railing jogs out to the right.
Yeah, I'm just,
That deck, I have to take off that entire section of deck, which is about 3.5 feet wide by that full length of that house.
when you look at it from the water.
Yes, when you
see-
look at it from the water, so I'm taking off deck
Yeah.
and railing. So the railing that's coming off, if you look at the proposed, you'll just see glass there, no railing at all.
Just an observation. It's the way it visualizes to me. I hear your point. I see your point.
Yeah. If just,
the
will you just tell me which dormer you're talking about?
When you look at it from the street, it's the right-hand side. But it's not the dormer, it's the shot. It's the salt box.
Oh, what about it?
There's a lot of mass to that side of the house. As
Well, if you
opposed,
think about it, it's only going to be 28 feet high, the story from the ground.
I'm putting it next to what's there today.
Right.
That's
And
what
if you take it, right, I know. So when I submit the new plans, you'll see it better, that
Yep.
it won't have the extra 5 feet. And it is a salt box. If you look at general salt boxes, there's a lot of roof line. And they generally go lower to the ground.
I'll be.
All right,
very
take a look,
patient.
drive by, George, if you have a chance,
Oh,
at
yeah,
450, where I live.
No, I know it well. I will
Thank you.
welcome your submission, and it was a little bit confusing. but
That I agree with.
I think we could
Thank you.
we could you'll fix that. I'm sure.
Thank you.
It could be very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. So Bonnie, to be clear, like tonight we're considering what you proposed. Here's as what was said, the other commissioners said, all we're considering tonight are these drawings and nothing else.
Correct.
Right.
I understand.
So I think, we met on site and I had some comments, I think that I don't think you wanted to hear, I guess, because you didn't make any adjustments to the massing. I think I said that I thought it was incongruous with that area in the historic district. The glass front doors and stuff like that.
I changed that. I changed the front doors and I changed the
I know,
side.
you change it from full glass to just like a glass panel on the bottom. It's not really a big change.
Well, that's what I had at Rose Hill. So I'm trying to make it like a farmhouse
Yes,
salt
it's
box.
it's like a very contemporary looking farmhousey feel, right?
Mm.
And it's
Okay.
and it has some significant massing on a corner lot that, when you drive down to that bridge area now from Harbor Road, first thing you see is the Tide Mill Bridge and that building there. I think this would mask that. You wouldn't see it any longer the same way you see it today. So
No, but having said that,
I think personally, and this is just me personally, that I don't think that the style and the massing works in this area. That's my opinion.
What is that? I'm sorry.
I said I don't think the style or the massing fits in this location.
The style or the what?
Massing,
Massing.
the mass of the building, the height, the width, the roof lines. It's a much, I mean, obviously you look at what's there today, and you look at what you're proposing, and this salt box that you're proposing is quite large, right?
It appears to be large. It's not quite large. It's, as I
Doesn't
said,
appear to
the
be. It
roof
is
line is
definitely large.
33. I'm allowed technically to go 40 feet high. This is 33 feet high.
Well, from a zoning perspective, yes, you have rights to do certain things, but now you're in the historic district, and you know some of the aesthetics are coming to play here more than whether
All
you're
right,
allowed to build a 40-foot high building.
Yeah, I understand completely. And that is why I did it to the side and added dormers and have 1 foot eaves coming off of it. So it does look historic. And it looks a lot more historic, in my opinion, than what's there currently, which is a combination of mid-century modern colonial cottage from 85. And I don't even know what those garage doors are. It's a lot, it's more appropriate now, in my opinion, than it is my submission than it is existing. In my opinion, because right now it's
I don't
3 different
see how it's.
designs.
I mean, the scale of the windows are even not historic in nature. You know, they're not proportioned to using traditional proportioning. You know, so
I didn't know there was traditional proportioning, because now this is more, I'm making more of a farmhouse salt box. Again, emulating a house to, the only thing that's different really is the salt box on it from every house up the street. The salt box. There's nothing else different than anything else that's there from every other house. The one across from me, from the one next door to me, the one up from that.
If they want to do anything, it would have to be within.
So the only
sorry.
difference is the
Somebody
salt box
has
aspect
their.
of it.
Could
Even
I
the
ask everybody-
farmhouses. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask everyone to mute their mics if they're not participating in the hearing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bonnie.
So if you go southwest up the road, up Harbor Road from this house, the house next door to me
There was a symposium.
is similar.
Okay.
Without the salt box roof. And then if you go with the next house up, which is the one I'm really trying to emulate the boathouse from, it has the same 2/2 windows with the same front door almost that I'm proposing.
And maybe it was 18.
I'm sorry, who is unmuted? All we can hear.
So I'm
Hold on.
really
Continue.
trying, Adam, to keep and actually
Okay.
make better the aesthetic.
I'm not seeing the connection between the barn boathouse a few houses down from you and what you're proposing. I'm sorry, but I just don't see that connection. I mean, I wish I did, but I don't.
Well, did you see
I
the
don't-
connection with the other house that I showed you with the other salt box dying into the roof of the colonial from the early 1800s?
The only part of it that I guess I could see a comparison is the dormer in that roof.
The dormer
But
and
the salt box is going the other way.
right. I
And
know
you
it's still
you turn the
dying.
salt
It's
box
still,
so it's facing the street.
Mhm.
You know, as opposed to, so it's totally, I mean, I don't really, I see some small connection there, but I don't know if you can really say that design was based on that.
It was completely based on that. It was completely
well,
based on that house.
You
And,
know,
it was a combination of the Tide Mill building, the boathouse up the street, actually the house next door, the house across the street. It's just, really tried to make it conducive to the neighborhood more than what is there currently.
Can I
That's-
interject for one moment?
Yes, please.
I think
Sure.
what Adam might be trying to say, and Adam, I'm sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth, but what I think I'm understanding you say is that you're taking elements from all these different houses, which are kind of sort of different time periods, and smashing them into one, so that each design element is contributing to the house that you've created, but they're not necessarily, while they might be, you know, kind of nodding at these other structures around you, they're not working together to outwardly explain to us a conducive design. Does that make sense? Like, what I'm seeing in the house is a mix of styles, just like you said the current house is. So I see your salt box, but the salt box is historically usually wouldn't be turned to the road that way. I see craftsman style in your garage doors, and then the back I see very modern. So there's a mix of styles going on. And while you might be taking points from all these historic structures together, they don't come together in the same way to create a house that kind of fits in the local area, I think, as much as you'd hope. Or at least that's what I think Adam's saying in some degree. Adam, if I've gotten it wrong, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I wasn't exactly saying that. But I think your point is valid. I do. I don't see the connection between some of the architectural references or your inspirations. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I don't. I know you obviously do, and you tried hard to blend this design together based on these inspirations. So I'm sorry I don't see it the way you do. But that's how I feel, unfortunately.
All right.
Okay.
Point taken.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the commissioners or? No. Okay, I didn't receive any letters in favor of this application, but I received 8 letters opposing this application, which I read into the record now. I'll start with the first one from Cynthia Crawford. Dear Adam and members of the Historic District Commission, thank you. Thanks for what you do. I served on the Historic District Commission in Wilton before we moved to Southport in 2008. We live at 211 Harbor Road and admire and respect Southport Village's historic district. That's why we choose to live here. Joy to reside in this beautiful, vibrant, architecturally significant community with a rich history. We heard 163 Harbor Road had been sold. We were pleased as the house a couple of doors down from ours had been empty for more than 2 years. The new owner quickly cleaned up the property and its stock, and renters moved in at the beginning of the summer. We learned the new owner is a speculative builder who has redone and sold 3 houses in Southport in recent years. We understand 163 Harbor Road needs to be lifted and assume that, like Anna Stell's old house at 789 Harbor Road, 163 Harbor Road would be lifted but would look much the same, respecting the historic district and the neighborhood. 163 Harbor Road is a lovely, understated single-family house built in 1958 on barely a third of an acre. The house, as you probably know, is an exposed and prominent location adjacent to the historic Tide Mill. It's the gateway to Harbor Road, visible not only from Harbor Road and River Road, but also from the Tide Mill and the water, and from other houses in the neighborhood. When we saw the proposed plans, we were surprised by the expansion and additions, new and raised roof lines and new dormers, increasing the height, mass, and scale of the structure. The third floor addition or additional decks, cabling, an additional chimney, a second front door, and numerous new windows, etc. If this proposed house is built as drawn, it will dramatically change both the streetscape and waterscape. The proposed plans to expand the house, make it more massive, not simply because the house is lifted, but because it is enlarged. The third floor is added and the roof line is changed and raised significantly, reflecting the personal aesthetic and wishes of the new owner-developer, not that of the existing house or other homes in the historic neighborhood. While the application includes images of neighborhood houses as inspiration, this is misleading. Proposed plans are overwhelming in scale and a small property and differ greatly from houses and structures used as inspiration. Observation after reviewing the plans for this proposed expansion and changes include: 1, existing front elevation facing Harbor Road has 8 windows, a front door, and 1 chimney, and a 2-stall, 1-story garage. Proposed front elevation has a new higher roof line, 16 new windows, a new second front door on the left and to the left of the original front door, and a new chimney, a second chimney, plus 2 new dormers. The roof line has been completely changed and raised. In addition to the house being lifted, a new 3rd floor is noted on the plans. The 2-stall garage remains, but with a new raised roof, a new window, and windows above the garage doors. There's a 2nd floor added to the garage. Hard to tell, but the roof is raised considerably and the window has been added. When we say roof raised and height increased, we do not mean due to lifting the house. We mean due to changing the roof line and raising the roof height. Existing right elevation has 6 windows and 2 doors and 1 deck and no chimney. Proposed right elevation has a new 2nd-story deck above the 1st floor deck and 6 new windows plus 4 windows or sliding doors on the 1st floor deck and a new chimney that runs up the side of the proposed right elevation. Also, 2 new dormers with significantly increased roof height. Pre-existing rear elevation water side has 1 chimney, 1 deck, and 25 windows. Proposed rear elevation water side has a 1st floor deck divided into 2 decks, the 3rd deck on the 2nd floor, as well as a new chimney on the left and 23 windows plus a minimum of 3 doors. Hard to tell what a window or door is. A window or door. 4, existing left elevation has 1 door, 1 chimney, and 6 windows and 1 deck. Proposed left elevation has 2 decks, 1 on the 1st and 1 on the 2nd, as well as existing chimney and view. Sorry, somebody is making a lot of noise. Maybe it's 5, on the plans, the 3rd floor has been added. See plans of front elevation, subfloor, 3rd floor is noted. 6, permits are needed to raise seawall, maximum 1 foot allowed, post-construction inspection required. We oppose this plan as the numerous changes and additions enlarge the mass scale and height of the house on a small property in an exposed location in Southport's Village, historic district, altering the streetscape and waterscape. Please reply to acknowledge your email, blah, blah, blah. Cynthia and Michael Crawford, 1211 Harbor Road, Southport. On December 8th, 2023, members of the Fairfield Historic District Commission regarding HCC application 163 Harbor Road in Southport. Thank you for your service to maintaining the historic district's properties and the district overall. An application for a certificate of appropriateness has been submitted for construction, which includes extensive modifications to the existing structure and property at 163 Harbor Road in Southport Historic District. The changes are significant and impact the scale, massing, structural attributes, and visual elements of the existing historic property. Changes to the historic seawall are also mentioned. We are property owners of 144 Harbor Road, which is directly across the street from the subject application. We would like to support the owner's objectives. However, at this point, we do not have adequate information to support or oppose this proposal. We do not believe the commission or neighbors do either. The effort of reviewing the proposal with the objective of finding information and options of an improved application is certainly within the authority of the commission and should be utilized. With such information, the objectives of the property owner, the HGC, and the neighbors might be achieved. This is a significant location in that it is the eastern entrance to the Southport Historic District and is visible from multiple vantage points in the district, such as Harbor Road, Tide Mill Bridge, Southport Harbor, and other neighboring properties. The changes involve filed plans which should not support the ability of the commission or public to easily compare and contrast the existing structure to the proposed. Structural changes that seem to be quite extensive, with significant massing on the right side, as viewed from the street, it is significantly different from the existing structure. Significant increases in overall height, even after allowing for the need to increase height to achieve FEMA compliance. For page 3 on the plans, there's indication of the addition of a second floor and a third floor, which is a dramatic change from the existing structure. A modified structure which may too significantly change the rhythm and streetscape compared to surrounding structures. An illustration of the comparative existing streetscape and proposed streetscape are not provided for comparison and public viewing and evaluation. Other methods of illustrating the change are seemingly not to be utilized. Example, polls or other technique. Revisions which may too significantly alter the historic style and character of the existing house, which is on a smaller parcel. The increase in amount, type, and extent of fenestration may change the character of the existing beyond historic appropriateness and to be too radical. Significant changes to the harbor side elevation, which may be too significant from a historic appropriateness standpoint, including changes in style using massing, etc. To the proposed changes in extent of the modifications to the decking volume location, including use of wire rails, overwhelm historic appropriateness, even if such are marginally used on adjacent properties. The harbor side of structure being extended towards the water from the existing structure in a significant manner, i.e. the existing rear center room. If so, is that too significant of a change to the existing from a historic appropriateness standpoint? Garage which is being lifted due to FEMA, but there is also seemingly a second story being placed above the garage floor with full-size window rather than an existing half-moon vent, along with similar window on rear garage, and the FEMA requirement be met with lower garage overall height. Will property be in compliance with maximum building floor area requirement? Size table seems to indicate that limit of 30% and new to be 32.5. Will ZBA variance be needed, and is zoning variance required ahead of requesting historic appropriateness approval from HGC? Does the proposed deviate too significantly from existing to such an extent that original character of existing is lost, particularly at the entrance of the Southport Historic District? Will increase to seawall height require approvals? Harbor Management Commission, zoning, floodplain management approvals, zoning and buildings, EPA, and other state federal agencies, example, DEEP or FEMA. The application should be revised and resubmitted and include updated and supplemental information such as streetscape illustration, allowing evaluation of both the current and proposed changes against the existing neighboring properties, a narrative explanation of how proposed structures is in compliance and congruence with other historic structures and historical appropriateness. Architectural overlay of proposed structure on existing structure on front, rear, side elevations, so the full impact of the change can be evaluated. This should include the markings to show the increase in height being proposed against each part of the existing structure. Consideration of utilizing a physical illustration of proposed structure using poles or other approach. A resubmitted application should identify reductions to the roof line, height, and window treatment and other aspects of the building envelope, which would serve as to reduce the impact of the revisions on the streetscape and better support historic appropriateness. Consideration of garage height reduction, including lessening of the height and roof line of the proposed second floor over garage. Consideration of other areas where the size and massing of this proposal are diminished, or better balance on the front elevation rather than overloading either side of the structure, but still provide the function desired by the owner. This information is needed by the HCC immediate neighbors and the overall historic district residents to effectively evaluate the scale, massing, historic appropriateness, impact on the streetscape, and overall impact of the proposed changes on the property at 163 Harbor in this part of the district. As part of this evaluation, useful information may be uncovered that the commission, neighbors, and owner may use to recognize adjustments to the size and massing of the changes, which would allow the updates to better fit with the streetscape and the neighboring properties. While we were a bit surprised about the extent of the changes without hearing from the new owner ahead of their application, we look forward to the opportunity to work with the owner to achieve their objectives or enhance usefulness of the property, along with a positive change for the neighborhood in keeping with the district's historical standards. Finally, it might be helpful to the applicant for the HCC to provide significant feedback, especially regarding what might be considered appropriate massing changes, so as to save the applicant time and energy with changes which may not be sufficient in striving for historic appropriateness and revisions to this property. Sincerely, John Wynn and Jen Carpenter. From Alice Stokes, members of the Historic District Commission, regarding 163 Harbor Road. I'd like to ask you, as stewards of our town's historic district, to deny the proposed renovations for 163 Harbor Road, Southport. As a resident for over 50 years, I have witnessed a transformation of our village from a time before there were historic districts to one. Because of the protections eventually provided by these districts to being a magnet not only for enthusiastic residents, but for apathetic, insensitive developers. For years, your commission has guided residents in their home renovations. However, in recent years, the current developer of 163 Harbor Road has, in her other buildings, has and continues to reject the aesthetic values of varying historic architectural styles in Southport. Furthermore, she has and continues to scorn the respect for gracious property spacing and its impact on neighbors while incorporating industrial style materials to complete her designs. Is the extensive use of wire railings on its numerous decks a nod to UI? The house has designed The house as designed is reminiscent of the paintings of George Braque. It has too many incongruent angles that will make it particularly conspicuous. In essence, this proposal repudiates everything the historic district prizes. Because of the height and mass of this proposal, I request that poles be placed to foretell its impact on its neighbors and views of the harbor. Without repeating and or belaboring the many sensible points made by Mr. John Wynn in his December 8th letter to you all, in which I heartily support and encourage you to use as a template for all your reviews that come before your commission, let me just say that the overall impression of the proposed rebuild is an abomination to historic values. Sincerely, Alice Stokes. This is from Sean Kelly to the Historic District Commission. We greatly appreciate the excellent work of the Historic District in maintaining the high standards of architectural aesthetics that the Village of Southport deserves. As residents of 204 Harbor Road, the application regarding 163 Harbor Road is of importance to us as it is to the surrounding neighbors. We offer our support to the letter written by John Wynn and Jane Carpenter, attached below, who have gone into depth on the issues that concern all of us. We agree with John and Jane's perspective and recommendations, and we are equally eager for further examination, clarification, and revision of this application. Please accept their letter as a single voice with which we all speak. In particular, what's especially significant about 163 Harbor Road is that it is effectively the gateway to Southport Village. Traveling from Fairfield, drivers, bicyclists, joggers, and pedestrians who are longtime residents, frequent visitors from nearby neighborhoods, or tourists arriving in the village for the first time will gain their initial impression of the district by crossing the Tide Mill Bridge. Countless photographs of the river, harbor, and adjacent homes are taken from this vantage point. The property immediately in front of those individuals is 163 Harbor Road. For this reason, it is essential that any changes to this property be appropriate and respectful to the historic character of our unique locale. With its high visibility, property sets the tone for the village, and so it should also set and maintain the highest standard. Thank you very much again. your excellent work and for your consideration. Best wishes, Sean and Megan Kelly, 204 Harbor Road. It's from Alana Griswold and Kyle Griswold. To Mr. Clyburn, Historic District Commission, we're in the opposition of the proposed new build at 163 Harbor Road. As a family who has spent years and a tremendous amount of money on a gut renovation in the historic district of Southport, is extremely distressing that this very large and industrial cookie-cutter modern farmhouse could be built down the road. We have adhered to every rule proposed by the HCC. We have hired professionals with specific experience with and affinity for old homes. We have kept the neighborhood and our neighbors' love of Southport in the forefront of every decision we make. Directly in the HCC handbook on page 28, there is specific language about the rarity of Cape-style homes in which 163 Harbor is and should be maintained. The very large modern farmhouse proposed fits in with none of its beautiful surroundings and would deeply hurt the charm of the town. Part of the reason our family chose Southport and why we felt compelled to endeavor on a gut renovation of a home from 1834 is because we know the town is properly protected by the HCC. So I understand you have to make hard decisions, but we're grateful for it. And you're single-handedly responsible for making sure Southport Historic District doesn't turn into a chaotic look of Westport's Campo or Fairfield Beach area. Historic Southport is a jewelry box of the town. The homes are built and maintained with a great taste, respect for history, and love of community. No one who lives in historic Southport Village and truly appreciates it will allow this home to be built as currently proposed. We believe that a talented builder, owner, architect can make something much more beautiful and congruent with its surrounding. We look forward to seeing a refined and harmonious home on this special property by the water. There's so much potential to continue to add to this already wonderful part of the world. Residents of Southport are currently fighting a massive utility company from coming into them to make money at our expenses, and forever ruining the unique character of our town that we all love and care for so deeply. While on a much smaller scale, this situation does not feel all that dissimilar. Gratitude, Lana and Kyle Griswold, 298 Harbor Road. She has a follow-up stating it is stated on page 65 of the HCC handbook, specifically the first paragraph in regard to the construction projects. I did not see how this proposed drawing fits the description in the handbook. Additionally, this structure was designed by William Henry Jackson, who was a prominent Fairfield architect. Lift and renovate is the way to go, and I truly believe this particular design build team can accomplish something spectacular. She quotes the new construction from the handbook. In the extremely unlikely event that a new construction is replacing a recently demolished or otherwise recently removed structure, the new construction should roughly match the previous structure in mass, scale, height, and dimension in order to maintain the historic visual qualities of the streetscape. Established rhythms and location, massing, height, and bulk of buildings and structures along the street should be maintained. This is from
Jack,
Catherine
if I could
Graham
interject
Nix.
for a second, Adam.
No, you may not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll let you. I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance.
All right. I just
Absolutely.
wanted to say I feel bad.
Dear Historic District Commission, thank you for your service to maintaining the Historic District properties in Southport. We live at 160 Harbor Road, across the street from 163 Harbor Road, and we share the concerns and opposition to the proposed plans for 163 Harbor Road as expressed to the HCC and letters from our neighbors, John Wynn and Jan Carpenter, and Cynthia and Michael Crawford. We support their letters. We have also reviewed the proposed structure file with the HCC, and we believe it appears much larger than its existing structure and not architecturally in keeping with the neighborhood and our historic house at 160 Harbor Road, which sits directly across the street. Thus, Catherine and Graham Nix, 160 Harbor Road, Southport. This is from Bessie Bradley. It is my understanding that the proposed renovations to 163 Harbor Road will be discussed at your meeting on December 14th. As a lifelong resident of Southport and the owner of the adjacent property, I have several concerns. I feel the renovations are totally inappropriate for Southport's historic district. The wire cable railing on all the elevated decks alone are hardly historic. The plate glass windows without mullions, looking very commercial and in general, the total overall height of the building seems to appear contemporary and not in keeping with the character of the town. I hate to see this part of Southport, the Tide Mill building and several other old houses comprised by adding this large non-conforming house to the neighborhood. Thank you for your considering my concern. Bessie Bradley, 187 Harbor Road. Lastly, from Sasquatch, members of the Historic District Commission, Sasquatch Association for Southport Improvement, Inc. is respectfully requesting denial of the subject application relating to 163 Harbor Road in the Southport Historic District, which will be heard by the Commission on December 14th, 2023. By way of introduction, in 1887, Sasquatch was founded as one of the first village improvement associations in America and has worked diligently for 163 years to preserve the character of Southport. The existing house at 163 Harbor Road is situated on a small lot at the end of Harbor Road near the bridge leading to the Tide Mill. The existing house is a building appropriate both in mass and height to the size, location, and topography of its lot. The existing house is particularly well suited to the location in that its height and mass do not in any way impede views of the historic Tide Mill. The proposed house at 163 Harbor Road would expand considerably on the existing house in both height and mass and could affect views of the historic Tide Mill protected by Connecticut state law. In addition to our concerns with overall height and mass, the proposed dual front doors on the Harbor Road elevation seem inappropriate for a house of the proposed size. Sasquatch is expressing no views on the other elevations with the exception that the overall height and mass seem inappropriate in relation to other houses on the harbor and the immediate neighborhood. Sasquatch recognizes that the houses on the other side of Harbor Road present greater mass and height, but they are very different from the Salute House and others near it on the water side of Harbor Road, in that the houses on the land side do not impede views of the harbor and historic Tide Mill from a public way. Sasquatch respectfully requests denial of the application on the grounds that it would be a wholly inappropriate increase in height and mass to the existing building in the harbor, would be out of character with other nearby houses of the harbor, and would threaten views of the historic Tide Mill from a public way. Thank you for your consideration of the Sasquatch Association views. Sincerely, Laura Becker Lawler. Okay. Bonnie, would you like did you have some response to the letters?
I understand everyone's concern with the bulk and the size of the house. I completely understand that, of where everyone's coming from. And I really think that that is why I've chosen that I don't want to raise it. I didn't even like it. So how about that? I didn't like it. So I'm in agreement from that standpoint to every one of those letters, completely. Regarding raising the right side, I'm basically adding 1 story. It's a 1.5 story house on the right side. And the reason why it's just going on that side and switching from the center is because that is the only side I can raise it on without getting a variance to raise more on across the entire roof line. I'm not allowed to do that unless I go and ask for a variance, which, as you can tell by these letters for historic, I will not get a variance. So I am going within the hardship right now of what I am allowed to do within the variance by going up on the right side. I think that having said that, and not lifting the house should be more than conforming. I also hear very loudly that people do not like the long line of the salt box. And the vision of that line drawing really does not eloquently show what the house will be in the end. It's not going to look modern. It's going to look soft and pretty, which is in all, I don't know. Most of my houses look very soft and pretty. There was a house that was not in historic on Willow that had more of a modern edge, but all of my other houses were very, in my opinion, conducive to Southport and charming, extremely charming. And they've been recognized as such. So I think that what I hear is people don't know or they don't understand my zoning constraints and the hardship. And everyone's saying that it's so massive, but it's really only going up 1 story from 1.5 stories to 2.5 stories. It's not going, it's an attic that's going to be finished, just like everybody has on that road. So I don't want to get too complicated and too convoluted. I will resubmit. And I understand the back. I hear what people are saying. The cable wire is the same that's on the roof deck at the Tide Mill building. You know, it's the exact same thing. The shingles, the same as I hear what they're saying. I think we should stop from there. I don't think so. I have a question for you. Did I submit the application properly for HDC?
What do you mean?
Did I submit it properly? I mean, you had all my ducks were in a row. Was there anything about the submission that was not accurate?
No, but I think, you know, I mentioned to you when we had our pre-application meeting that perspectives would be helpful. And you said your architect couldn't do perspectives.
Oh, like
So,
that.
I mean, I
Well,
think,
you know, yeah, okay. I
so,
understand
I
what
mean,
you
it's
said.
there, you know, no, and quite frankly, you
I got
had,
it.
I mean, you had, you know, the elevation showed before and after. I was surprised you didn't have floor plans because sometimes floor plans can help, you know, to see before and after floor plans to see what you're doing with the deck. Because it's hard to tell what part of the deck you're taking off from the elevations, you know?
You can see it a little bit on
And then you
Suzy,
had
but I
all
know
these
it's
pictures. I mean, you had a lot of information. It's almost, you know, too much information because a lot of it was hard to figure out what it was for, all the different pictures. And without having, you know, maybe a note that said, you know, this is the detail that's inspiring me for this house and it's on this building. You know, instead that you're looking at a Tide Mill and you're like, okay, Tide Mill or the boathouse down the road, but I don't see how I don't see the connection, you know, because you're not really specifically pointing it out.
right.
So yes, technically your application was submitted, was accepted, and it wouldn't have been accepted if it wasn't complete. But it could have used more information to help people understand it, you know, like the perspectives.
Okay. And I think something else that I'm really hearing is like this massive structure on the side. So yeah, the
Which a
perspectives, I think,
perspective would help to show,
yeah,
you know.
in relationship also to the house next door. Probably.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I hear all of it.
Perspectives they say so much about. I mean, it's so much easier for everyone to understand how the structure is going to fit in that corner in relation to the other buildings if you
Mhm.
model it.
And if they're well done. If they're well done.
And if
There
they're
are some
yeah,
programs, like my
if
architect's
they're
programs
accurate.
aren't really up to par for something that I would want to see. So if I don't want to see it, I don't think anybody else would want to see it. And that's why I didn't submit it. But I
They can
hear
also
you.
be hand perspective drawings have been done for, you know, forever.
Yes, I understand that completely. And I appreciate those. And it's so funny that you say that because someone just told me that yesterday, just randomly, about someone that does that. So I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate everyone's comments. And I understand it.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to, here's a thought, do you want to give the applicant the opportunity, if she prefers to verbally withdraw that application? I'm not sure at this point, given the way the hearing went,
I
you
think-
know, what the purpose of voting on it would be. That's, I just wanted to put that as an option if it would,
I think at this
something on
point,
the
Art,
record.
I think at this point, Art, we've already, she's presented the application, and I think we can vote on it, and you know, I personally, I know I'm going to vote against it. So I think there's just too much that we need to resolve.
Yeah, I
to-
hear
to
it
move
loud and
forward with
clear. I'm voting against it. I got you.
Okay, again, I didn't see the point of voting.
All good.
Yeah.
Given that, but that's an option, and whatever you want to do is fine.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Art. Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else, Bonnie?
No, I respectfully thank everyone for their input and for your
Okay.
review.
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie. Is there anyone in the public, would anyone care to speak in favor of this application? Would anyone in the public like to speak against this application? Okay. So the hearing is closed. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you all. Have a nice night.
Okay, I will go back to the one application that was a no-show. See if they're here. Greenfield Hill Congregational Church, 1045 Old Academy Road in Fairfield, property located at 1045 Old Academy Road for a new generator with evergreen screening. There's someone here to present. No, okay. All right, moving on to considerations of the public hearings. First item. And let me see, I think we have, Jim, you will be voting on, well, actually, I think you guys are gonna vote on all of them because Rosina is out, so she's not here any longer. So, okay, you guys both alternates vote on all the applications. So first item on the agenda, Sophie Coleman, 349 Beach Road in Fairfield for property located at 349 Beach Road in Fairfield for A, new fieldstone stepping stones, B, marble coping around pool, C, new marble pool deck, and D, pool equipment on concrete pad. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
Okay. Karen motions to approve and 10 seconds. Discussion?
No.
All right, no discussion. I think, George, I don't think you were here, so for the first application, were you?
Just I missed the first part of it, but that's fine.
Oh, if you were here if you were there to,
Yeah, I heard it. I heard.
okay. All right, then all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Second item, Stephen and Margaret Staunton, 560 Pequot Avenue, Southport, property located at 560 Pequot Avenue. To A, replace and update bluestone around pool. B, replace, update bluestone patio, new fieldstone sitting wall and planting beds. C, new patio off dining. D, replace existing fence. And E, gravel driveway with Belgian block, apron, and steel edging. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll
Yeah.
motion to approve as submitted. Oh, sorry, Art.
Go for it. I'll second it. Thank you. Go for it,
Thank you,
Jim.
Darren. Thank you, Art. Seconds. Discussion? No discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
Opposed? No, none opposed, no abstentions, motion passes. Greenfield Hill Congregational Church, 1045 Old Academy Road in Fairfield for property located 1045 Old Academy Road in Fairfield for a new generator with evergreen screening. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to deny without prejudice because they didn't show up.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll second that. That's easy.
George seconds. All in favor? All opposed? No abstentions? Motion passes. Last item on the agenda, 163 Harbor Road, Harbor LLC for 163 Harbor Road, Southport for property located. 163 Harbor Road in Southport for A, lift house, B, decrease deck size, C, replace existing deck with new deck, D, replace deck railing with new railings, E, remove trash receptacle, F, new generator platform, G, new condenser platform, H, replace asphalt roof with cedar roof, I, replace aluminum gutters, downspouts with galvanized aluminum, J, revise and replace all windows and doors, K, remove existing roof, new flat roof deck, L, new right side door, M, new siding and columns to be wood shingles, N, revise garage, fence posts and railing lighting, O, replace garage doors and replace louver with a window and shutter, P, enclose existing front door, add 9-inch vertical board batten, Q, new dormer, R, second floor addition, S, new entry with portico, T, new stairs with posts, spindles, and planters, U, new brick chimney with bluestone cap, add bluestone cap to existing chimney, V, new windows, W, metal driveway edging, pavers, gravel patio, X, new gates, Y, extend height of seawall 1 foot. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a
Motion
motion to deny. Oh,
Yeah, go
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna-
Deny without prejudice.
deny
Yeah.
without prejudice. Yeah.
Second.
Second? George is second. Okay.
Yep.
Discussion?
I think that there's too much unknown. I don't think that there was a clear presentation. I'm still very confused. I think it's a mash of styles. I think her vision has changed, and I feel that she used her submission as kind of a pre-application type of vibe. I think I don't know what a salt box farmhouse is, and I also think that the application was basically demoing the house that's there and putting up a new house. And I just don't know how to move forward on an application when so much was being presented as, well, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what we're approving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, when we had the initial pre-application meeting, I expressed my concerns with the style and the scale, the mass, but I think maybe in the future, for pre-application meetings, we do a special meeting and have an actual meeting on the site where the public is invited if they want to come, you know, I mean, make it a little easier and maybe accomplish more. Because I feel like we didn't really accomplish a whole lot with the last pre-site meeting, and it took a while.
I think I had proposed that when we were doing the handbook revision, doing it either on site or via meeting like this. We can do them on this too, where they present the plans.
True.
And we can go to a site visit individually and go and see, and then come to a meeting like this. I think for pre-applications, that's super
Yeah.
important, particularly for one of this size.
I agree.
I'm
Yeah,
not so.
she's just doing too much stuff.
I'm
Go
not
ahead,
so
Ed.
sure we want to have the public going to, on-site meeting, the informal meetings.
Yeah, no, I don't think, I think for
Okay.
pre-applications, they can come, but it's not a public meeting. There's no vote taken and they can't respond. So I think individual site visits, just where we go, and then we come to a scheduled WebEx meeting.
Yeah,
Would
that,
be best.
So
I don't think,
Still
I don't
needs to be
think they
noticed.
need to be noticed. If they happen to be walking by, that's one thing, but.
Yeah.
They're not there to comment on something that's not submitted, so we don't want to give them any notice of that. Personally,
We have to though, if it's a pre-application meeting.
yeah, you have to give
I
legal
thought-
notice.
well, a pre-application meet, is it a formal gathering where you have to post?
It's
notice?
more than 3 commissioners, yes.
Yeah, if we have a quorum, we have to notice it.
Right.
Well, why would we want to do that?
It's in the state statutes.
I'm
We
aware
have
of the
to.
statute, but why
Yeah.
do we need to do it for something like this?
Well, we tried doing the pre-application meeting last time. You were there, and we met 2 at a time. But I don't feel like it was that productive, you know? Like I thought it was productive, but then, you know, she came in and basically didn't change a whole lot, didn't respond to the comments.
I mean, I thought it was productive too. I mean, but then again, she went ahead and presented something she didn't want that she knew would, you know, you would.
Yeah. I
heard your objections when we were there, Adam, but I think the informal meeting process is a good one. But I don't know that we need to have a notice for the purposes.
I think, you know, satisfying whatever FEMA requirements are, and I still don't understand that. If she's talking now about not raising the house, is FEMA requiring her to raise the house?
I think that's irrelevant. The FEMA stuff is not our business. It's not our
satisfying whatever those FEMA requirements are, together with satisfying the Southport Historic District appropriateness. It's like threading a needle. You know, the thread is very ragged, the hole in the needle is very small. And she just didn't do it. It's a tricky thing to do. And she just hasn't done it. I mean, you look at the elevations and the massing difference between the existing and the proposed, it jumps out at you. And that's an important approach to the village. And it distorts the whole idea of the village when you see this enormous thing there. Anyway, that was my point, but yeah, I'm against it.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Thank you.
All right. All in favor? All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay. Moving on to the approval of minutes. We do have a little issue, which I'm not sure how to deal with. The minutes from August were never approved, and Chris Shea is no longer on the commission. So there's only two commissioners who are there, me and Darren. So how do we solve that? They just don't get approved? All right. I'll have to figure out what we're supposed to do in a situation like that. Anyway, we need the minutes from the November meeting. From the November meeting approved. And we have Darren, Jim, Art, and Rosina was there, myself. So if we get a motion to approve those, if anyone's.
I'll make a motion to approve the November minutes as submitted.
Thank you. Second? Jim, Art?
Art raised his hand.
I'll second it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Unopposed? Motion passes. Okay, chairman report. I have no repairs this month. Update on current violations. Is it the, I don't remember the address. 1 second. 776 Pequot Avenue. Yes. The 776 Pequot Avenue, they put up the vinyl fence. I think George pointed it out. So they finally took down the front gate, the gates on the driveway. And I drove by, they emailed me and said they took it down. They sent me a picture, and I drove by and they still had the fence up in the other part of the yard. So they have to take that down. I said it was okay for them to leave it up until they get the new fence because they have a dog. So, but they're in the process of dealing with that. And the Beach Road violation was resolved with the casing. Other than that, old business, the handbook grant update. We got the grant for the handbook. So we're moving forward. Darren, I don't know if Mary reached out to you at all, responded to you.
She did respond to me. She's preparing all the paperwork, so it's just a question of waiting for that to happen. I'll check in with her before Christmas if we don't receive it.
Okay. Do they, I mean, where do we, there must be like a boilerplate RFI.
There's
Right.
there's a boilerplate RFP. I have it. So I can get that ready to go as soon as we get the contract. We can't really release without the contract.
Oh yeah, it's RFP, request for proposal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what's that process?
So we get the
doesn't you take it, or
contract. Sorry?
Does it get noticed somewhere?
It gets put out on our website, but what I've done in the past, so it's put on a public format. What I've done in the past is also solicit bids. So if we solicit bids, we need to solicit from 3 different people or groups,
Okay.
firms. I would recommend doing that as well to make sure that we get responses from the people we really want to hear from, or that we have a specific interest in hearing from.
Okay. So I guess the other thing, once we get this thing going, we probably need to, I think the whole commission should be involved in it. I don't need, if I could have a
Usually it's
subcommittee
a
or anything like that.
subcommittee and then you bring it to the whole commission.
Okay. So I guess we'd have to form a subcommittee, the handbook. But it should be pretty hands off, right? I mean, just helping whoever's doing the work, steering them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll have a new handbook by the end of the year, next year.
Shouldn't take that
Okay.
long. It should take like 6 months, hopefully, if all goes well.
Hopefully they pull my terms up.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So new business, we have to do the election of officers. I was texting with Rosina. She's open to being the vice chair again. I don't know if anyone has any opposition to that or not, but no. So I'll start with her. I'll make the nomination for Rosina as the vice chair. Be the second, I guess.
I can second that.
Sure.
Third, second. All in
Yep.
favor?
All right.
All opposed and unopposed? Great. Rosina remains vice chair. I'm willing to be the chair again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
For my last term. Can we just need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion. Adam, chairman, for another term.
I wholeheartedly second that.
In second, all in favor? All opposed, unopposed. That motion passes. And Darren, how do you like your role?
I don't, but I'll do it again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Unless someone else
Yes,
wants to
thank
do
you,
it.
Darren.
Take that. Yeah, I'll motion for Darren to be the, what's it called? Role secretary?
Clerk.
Clerk, thank you, clerk. Secretary, clerk.
Secretary, clerk.
Second.
Thank you, George. All in favor? All right, motion passes. I was a clerk for like a decade.
I just
So we had live meetings.
end of term accrual is just a lot.
Yeah. When we had live meetings, the clerk had to read the letters, not the chairman. I don't know why I read them. I should give him. It's your job.
I'll read them. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Tonight I wanted
Don't leave out half of it.
tonight I was like, maybe I should give some to Derek. A lot of letters.
Yeah.
Voice is sore. All right, anyway, if there's not anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Please,
Second.
George, second, all in favor?
All right.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.